Habits are the foundation of success, but which habits should you be following? Habit number 1, all the ideas and none of the gear. So everyone has these great ideas and people always go, wow, you should really do that. And people think ideas are special. They're not. Ideas are pretty cheap. In fact, if you surround yourself with a decent person or a decent group of people, ideas will come aplenty. Every single week there are new ideas. Alex says to me, I've got a million ideas, some of them good, some of them bad. And this isn't knocking Alex, by the way, ideas on their own are cheap. Implementation is key. And I've learned this over the years. So many people, they share amazing ideas. Ideas where I'm just there going, wow, if you implemented 1% of these, it would be phenomenal. But it's so much easier to sit there and dream, whereas actually implementing this stuff, it takes time. You get negative feedback as you develop. You process in different ways. Things come up that you didn't think were going to be there. And a clear divide between those that are unsuccessful and those that are successful is implementation. You're much better having one idea that you implement for 3 to 6 months and then another idea that you bring to the table rather than having 10 ideas that you try at once or frankly don't execute on in the first place. Number 2, assigning responsibility, or said less diplomatically, stop fucking blaming people for your lack of action. So much I see this where people put it on to others. Sorry, I'm late. There was traffic. There was ice on my car this morning. I couldn't call the vendor because I was too late getting up. Everything about blaming other people. If you start taking real accountability, real responsibility, and real ownership of what you do, you are in control of your life. Think about it this way. If you are blaming another individual for your success, you are now victim to that. And not even to the person, because the person isn't responsible for your outcomes. But if you blame this individual here, then I live my life as a victim. I am not in control if I'm a victim. And if you're not in control, then you can't control your future. And it's really important to understand that in order to be really successful, I mean super successful, is taking ownership, not blame. I'm not saying feel guilt about non-action. I'm saying take responsibility for it. Take ownership for it. And seek out things. So if you've got a friend that's not been there for you, you can take ownership by communicating to them that you're feeling a breakdown in the relationship and you'd love to repair that and ask them what's needed for them to make that happen. You can get on time for things by looking at the weather and seeing that it's icy tomorrow and getting up 15 minutes earlier. You can actually prioritize your life instead of blaming outside circumstances because why you haven't got your fat ass in the gym for the last year. That was me last year, by the way. As soon as you take ownership, as soon as you take responsibility, number 1, you're going to feel real confronted by that, but you're going to feel a real sense of power when you live every day with purpose. An example of that, by the way, is a lot of you have been trying to build your portfolios and insisting on doing it yourself. And it's okay taking that ownership and saying, I don't have the time. Then delegate out that time. There are companies that can do that. So if you've got the money sat there to invest, but you've not been doing it for the myriad of reasons, then utilize one of those. And if you'd like to have a chat with that, that's exactly what my company does. You can put APG in the comments and one of my team will be in touch. Number 3, everyone and then you. I see this so much where people live their life for other people and you think they must be an amazing individual, but actually they're quite selfish. And I know that they might not be selfish in their mentality. They might have the best intent possible, but I'm a big believer in you need to be selfish to be selfless. So I'll give an example. Last year, 2022, I really struggled with my mental health. And for a long time, I didn't share that I was struggling with my mental health. So I went through quite a traumatic time last January, which we won't go through right now. But what that meant is that I ended up not looking after myself. I stopped working out, which is a real big part of what I was. I started to get fatter and fatter. I noticed in these videos, like tops feeling tighter and tighter. and feeling more embarrassed of myself. And I didn't tell many people what I was going through. That was really selfish of me. And so I was an empty cup. This is about as much energy as I had left. And yet what was needed from me is so much more than I had to give. And what I could have done is been a bit selfish and just said, hey, I want to be real with you guys. I'm really going through a lot. I'm starting to see a therapist. I'm starting to develop, but I'm going to need a bit more me time. I'm going to need to focus on me. I need to focus on the gym, my nutrition, my sleep, and everything that's going on up here so that I can give you the best possible. Now, that's an extreme example, but hopefully a very relevant one, and maybe one you connect with, that if you don't look after number one, if you don't develop yourself, if you don't prioritize your needs, your tasks based on your outcomes, then you are pouring from an empty cup. Now, it's great that you want to help people, but wouldn't you say that you can fill more cups if you're constantly replenishing your own? And that's the logic behind it. Habit number 4, living chaotically. Living without structure is crazy. Routine equals results, okay? The more structured you are, the more freedom you have. In fact, I think it's the Navy SEAL slogan that says discipline equals freedom. Now, it might sound a bit like, ugh, masculine, but actually, it's true. The more format you have, the more freedom you have. So for example, when I'm getting up at the same time every day, going straight to the gym, eating at the same time every day, eating similar foods, it then allows more flexibility in my life outside of that structure because I feel more present and in the moment. I'll give another example of last year where, as I said, my mental health was all over the place. And so my structure was all over the place. I'd be going to sleep at 9 p.m. and then 1 a.m. and then 3 a.m. and still trying to get up at 5:30, which would then turn into 8 o'clock. And I'd be really pissed with myself and wake up that way. And so my whole day was all over the place. I'd allow interruptions left, right, and center instead of having control of my time. And so what happened is, the irony is I felt I was putting all of my time, 100% of my time and energy into other people. People seemed to feel that I wasn't giving them attention for them, and I was miserable, starting to hate myself in some ways, and so it was all there. Now, I don't want to make out as miserable all the way through the year, by the way, because I happen to love my life. But the point is, I made a conscious decision, number one, to take that accountability, to get the routine in place. And, you know, it's only been maybe 35 days, but every single day I've got up at the same time for the last 35 days. Every single day I have worked out and done my morning routine. Every single day I've eaten at the same time and more consistently. Every single week I've had my therapy call and had that structure where I have me time and having that reflection on me, allowing me to replenish my cup and pour into other people. Now, yours doesn't need to be as extreme as that, but I promise you, getting that structure, getting that routine will give you results because you'll have the systems and approach to generate the value that you need to in the world to add more money in your pocket. And also, I don't just mean your financial pocket, I also mean your mindset and personal development. Habit number 5, where people go wrong, is working really hard at all the wrong things. And I see this all the time. I'm constantly talking to my mentees, constantly talking to my team. And the way that I would recalibrate this is I always say, what am I optimizing for right now? So what's the needle that I'm looking to move forward? So let me give a business one about getting on investors. Now, if I'm trying to get more leads, okay, and leads is the thing I'm optimizing for right now, there's no point me spending time on the internal systems. There's no point me learning about the sales scripts and developing the sales script. What I should be doing is talking about APG, Aspire Property Group, which I've done in this video. And then what that does is that will generate interest and it will bring in leads. If I then go, cool, I've got loads of leads, now I need to increase the quality. Then what I might do is on this channel, I'll talk about Aspire Property Group, but now you can only invest with us if you've got 250,000 or more. Okay, so that would get less of you saying APG in the comments, but we'd get higher quality in terms of the financial ability of the client. Then I could optimize for the sales call and I could listen to my team. I could look at the scripts. I could redevelop them. Each one is generating the next result. The amount of time somebody will say, I'm struggling to get a property in my property investment company. And I'll say, okay, what have you done over the last 3 months? I've done 50 viewings. Okay, how many offers? I put in 4 offers. Great. How about you put in 50 offers and go to the 4 viewings that were accepted? A small switch really makes a difference. And you need to remember, this is not a work smart, not hard bullshit that you hear out there. What I'm saying is work hard and work smart, i.e. work hard on the right things, what's going to move the needle the most, and you'll see the quickest impact. So let's just summarize those before we wrap up. Number 1 is all the ideas and none of the gear, i.e. take the actions and implement. Number 2, stop assigning responsibility. You cannot blame people for your inaction. Number 3, stop focusing on everyone else initially. Focus on you. Be selfish to be selfless. Number 4, stop living chaotically. Structure and routine equals results. Discipline equals freedom. And number 5, work hard, but on the right things. If you're going to work hard, work smart as well. So those are my top 5 habits that I think lead to success. No doubt I've missed some out that you think are really powerful. Add them in the comments below. I'd love to learn from you as well as you learning from me. If you are interested in the Spy Property Group, you could put APG in the comments or click the link in the description. And if you did get value, it really does help me out a lot just by hitting the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.